All right, Void VangAurd here. We are going to go over crafting in Path of Exile 2. This is going to be a expedited crash course in crafting in Path of Exile 2. We are going to go over multiple things. Here's the agenda. We're going to go over item rarity. We're going to go over item level. We are going to go over orbs. We are going to go over all of the other necessities required to do some basic bitch crafting. We're going to go over what items can be crafted. Then we're going to go over the efficient crafting workflow, which is very important, so you should pay attention to that one. I'm going to leave timestamps down below for everything that we are going over, so that if I'm going over something that you are familiar with, you can feel free to skip ahead. Also, we have a podcast. There, shameless plug, bitch. We're starting a podcast. Make sure if you like this content, make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe. Hit the dumbass little bell icon thingy majigger, because I also stream every single day Path of Exiles 2. So feel free to stop in and ask me any questions or just chill. And we are also going to go over more advanced crafting, such as crafting with Essence, crafting with Omens. Let's just do the thing. Just go. Okay. So we have item rarity. You have your white item. These come with, typically, no, they don't come with any mods. They just come with, they can sometimes come with implicits. Implicits don't have to be static like this. Static meaning every dual string bow you find will fire an additional arrow. It won't fire 2 additional arrows. It won't fire 3. It won't fire 1.5, whatever. It will always fire 1 additional arrow. Okay? Now I'm using dual string bows as an example. This should represent all armor and everything else that you can craft. There are some exceptions to everything, but give me a break, okay? Jesus. Okay, so we have white or normal. This doesn't have any mods. We have blue or magic. These can have 1 or 2 mods. Then we have rare or yellow, and these can have up to 6 mods. And we have unique or orange, and these are very limited crafting can be done to these. You can improve the quality. You can add rune sockets, which we'll go over here in a little bit, and that is about it, other than the improving the quality like you see here and adding these rune sockets. That's about pretty much all you can do. The words before an item mean something. Here you have a dual string bow. Pretty basic. Here you have a superior dual string bow. The difference between this bow and this bow is that this one has added quality. You can see right here, plus 10% quality, slightly higher damage. Okay, and then you have advanced dual string bow, higher damage. So this damage is higher than that one. One of the first tips that I want to mention is that when you hover over an item, if you hold Alt, you can see additional information. Like you see the item level, and on items like this, you can see like items that have a roll range. You can see the range, and you can see where the roll. Okay, so this was a 64, so between 50 and 70. If it was 70, that would be better, but it's a 64, which isn't absolutely dreadful, but it's not the best. Let's say you have this item and you want to compare it to the bow you currently have equipped. You can hover over it, hold shift, and then you can see additional information. You can compare the two. And if you hold Alt and shift at the same time, then you can look at the rolls for each one. You can get that for more detail whenever you hit Alt after you've hit shift, and you hold both of them together regarding all the mods and the stats on both of those pieces of gear that you're trying to compare. All right, so I feel like we've gone over that. Okay, so let's go over orbs and some additional materials that you're gonna need for the basic bitch crafting method. The basic bitch crafting method utilizes mostly these orbs. This is the least complicated way that you can craft an item in Path of Exile 2. And on top of that, additional resources, however not required but highly suggested, are these items here. So let's go over all those. All right, we have our Orb of Transmutation. This upgrades a normal item to a magic item with 1 modifier. So it takes it from a white item to a blue item with 1 new mod. Then you have your Orb of Augmentation. This adds a new modifier onto a magic item. It's going to be completely random. It could be a prefix, it could be a suffix. You have your Orb of Alchemy. Now your Orb of Alchemy is unique because what it does is it upgrades it, bypassing the Orb of Transmutation, bypassing the Orb of Augmentation, bypassing the Regal Orb. So essentially it does all 3 of these at once. That could be good, that could be bad. It's good because it saves time. It's bad because you have less control, and you'll see why in a little bit. Now we have the Regal Orb. The Regal Orb upgrades a magic item to a rare item, adding 1 modifier. You can try to do any of them on any piece of gear. These 3. I wouldn't do any of the other ones because then you're just other than like this one, and the Exalted Orb. There's nothing bad that can happen from using those if you're unsure if you can do it or if you can't do it. Then we have our Chaos Orb. So the Chaos Orb removes a modifier and augments a rare item with a new random modifier. So it will, like for example on this, it would take off one of these modifiers and replace it with something else. So you might go, oh, I really don't like this tier 2. And then you use a Chaos Orb on it. So now we want to get rid of that tier 2. We got rid of the tier 2. Got some fire damage in there. Okay, that's not bad. It got better. So that's essentially what a Chaos Orb does. Val Orb. Now the Val Orb, it pretty much modifies the item unpredictably. You don't know what it's going to do, but once you do it, once you use the Val Orb, and you corrupt it, it is what it is. Other than rune sockets in the item, you can replace the actual runes that are in the sockets of the weapon. But other than that, it is what it is. If you didn't improve the quality, it's your fault. Exalted Orb is the bread and butter. Typically, after you go through these 2, this one, you're going to end up hitting it with an Exalted Orb 3 more times. What this does is add a random modifier each time you hit it with an Exalted Orb. Divine. Let's say you have this item and it's perfect. All of these mods are the exact mods you want. Remember, if we hit alt, we see more information. We got the tier over here. We got the prefix, suffix, implicits over here. We can only have 3 prefixes, we can only have 3 suffixes. So let's say you have all the mods that you want. The only thing that you don't like are the numbers. Well, a Divine Orb, when you use it, will change all the numbers for all of those mods. It could make it better, it could make it worse. That's something you have to take into consideration. Moving forward, Orb of Annulment. This will remove a random modifier. Just totally remove. Unlike the Chaos Orb, the Orb of Annulment will just remove a modifier. Whereas in the Chaos Orb will remove a modifier and then replace it with something. And we have the Orb of Chance. So this is why you see all the people asking for stellar amulets, because they're hoping to get something like this. So you can use an Orb of Chance on a regular stellar amulet to have a chance at getting a Astramentus, for example. And that's why you always see people buying all of these normal stellar amulets for crazy amounts of money or gold. So we've discussed the orbs for the basic bitch crafting. And I mean, you'll need the orbs for advanced crafting too. But then we get to the quality. Well, this is the quality area. So each one of these improve the quality of the item. So the blacksmith's whetstone improves the quality of a martial weapon, which a bow is a martial weapon. Armor scrap improves the quality of armor. And arsonist etcher improves the quality of wand, staff, or scepter. And why would you want to improve the quality? Because as you can see here, this dual string bow 16 to 31 physical damage. Now with plus 10 quality, you have 16 to 34 physical damage. And I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but every single point matters, because it ends up, especially how you set your passive tree up, it ends up being exponential. And then next, but certainly not least, this is the last thing. If you have craft something, let's say I crafted this and I go to corrupt this, big, huge, massive mistake. Because the thing is, you need to hit it with the Artificer's Orb in order to get some rune sockets in here. Reason being, because if you don't do that, when you corrupt, it could just add a rune socket, and that's the corruption. And you could have done that yourself without having to take a chance. But if you add the max amount of rune sockets to the item and you corrupt it, there is a very good chance that it will add an additional one, making it more rare. Like these gloves. You can't just put 2 rune sockets in the Hands of Wisdom glove. The only way that this other socket right here got put in was because I corrupted it. So let's talk about all the items that can be crafted. Now, crafting can pretty much be applied to all of these things. However, the different levels of crafting that can be applied to them vary. So here you see, we have the tablet. This can go from this to this. Amulets can go from this to this, and so on. See, relics can even be crafted on. And then, so when I was talking about there's a maximum quality for 98% of items on the game, and it's 20% maximum quality. Like here you see quality 20%, quality 20%. You can't add quality or rune sockets to quivers. And this is where the exception comes in, because breach rings like these can be brought up to 50%, increasing their base attributes. For that, you would use catalysts. Catalysts will essentially modify rings and amulets according to those various attributes that they're mentioning. Like here it says caster modifiers. So anything on a breach ring or a ring has to do with casting modifiers. You could use this to increase the quality for that item. Typically these are used on breach rings due to the 50% increase in quality that is available. Okay, so you also can't improve the quality or put a rune socket in a belt. So the things you can't put a rune socket in are amulets, rings, belts, flasks, obviously, charms. If I'm skipping over something, leave it in the comments below. And remember, if you're finding this valuable, like and subscribe. I stream every day, Path of Exile 2. Feel free to stop in, say hi, ask questions. Like and subscribe to the channel. It allows me to do what I'm doing. And I stream every day, Path of Exiles 2. Right now, we're gonna start a podcast. There's all kinds of moving parts going on. But just like and subscribe so you can keep up to date and you'll know what the hell is going on. Another thing that some people tend to overlook is you can upgrade or you can craft on your skill gems. So skill gems come with 2 sockets. You can improve those sockets by using jeweler's orbs. So there's a lesser jeweler's orb, there's a greater jeweler's orb, and a perfect jeweler's orb. Going from here to here to here will get you up to having 5 sockets for jewel to place in, such as on this one. How this one has 5 sockets. And you can also corrupt them, which it could do good, it could do bad. Corruption will go one way or the other, or it could just stay the same, really. So it could just brick it to where it's like it is what it is and you ain't never changing it, or it could improve it, or it could totally destroy that item. All right, so let's go over the official Void VangAurd, the basic bitch efficient workflow. You pick up an item, boom, you hit it with a scroll of wisdom, boom, you hit it with an orb of transmutation, and you can carry this stuff down with you on the field. Boom, you hit it with a regal orb. Now you have a rare item, and at this point you know whether or not that's going to be a piece of trash or it's going to be good. And it's at that point you decide, I'll put it in my pack or I won't, or I'll leave it in my pack, or I'll just drop it on the ground. And then we have all of the quality improvement items here. You want to make absolutely sure, I'm pretty sure I already said that, you gotta make sure that you hit it, whatever you're crafting, you need to hit it with these as much as you can and these as much as you can before you even think about using a Val orb. because once you use a Val Orb, it's done. I had a bow that I crafted one time, and it was really good, and I was so excited. I hit it with the Artificer's Orb, and I was like, oh yeah, I got the rune socket, and I was like so excited to see if I would get that third socket that I did not improve the quality. I mean, I don't know who would buy it, because all they can pay attention to is like, why isn't it 20% quality? Somebody might buy it. Okay, moving right along. Next, we have essence crafting, utilizing essence. So we have regular essence, then we have greater essence. Essence essentially act as advanced transmutation orbs, because you can pick what kind of modifier, is placed on it in order to turn it from a normal item to a magic item. So for example, here we got life modifier, we got physical modifier. So if I wanted my bow to do more physical damage, I would use this. Let's see if we have one. Shouldn't get distracted. I want damage. I want physical damage. All right. That's not that great, but we could always use a Orb of Annulment. Take it back. Now, this item, just because we use an Orb of Annulment, does not mean that this item is no longer magic. It's still a magic item. That is where our greater essence comes in. Because greater essence, like let's say I use this physical modifier, I got an awesome physical modifier. Now I could use this to upgrade it from a magic item to a rare item with a rare item with one attribute modifier, or one attack modifier, or a speed modifier. So the next thing we're going to talk about are Omens. So Omens
in a gambling mood. How can I
are pretty expensive, and this is going to be like pretty advanced. But I'm gonna provide you with the kind of cliff notes so you can experiment this kind of on your own and explore it. Omens aren't just for crafting; they also are for, like, if your health gets below 20%. Then you'll get 50% more health and mana, and like weird things like that. Like here you can see, while this item is active in your inventory, your next Orb of Alchemy will result in the maximum number of prefix modifiers. So if you buy this, you put it in your inventory. Let me show. So when it's in your inventory, you right click it. Now anything, if this says, some of them say, the next exalted orb you use on an item will result in it getting a prefix or a sub, it'll say we'll get a prefix, or there might be another omen that says we'll get a suffix. Now, if you want to find out what the prefixes and suffixes are for particular items, then you can use this site, which is Craft of Exile. I'll leave a comment, or I'll leave a link to it down below. And I can provide a tutorial on this. If anybody wants, just let me know in the comments below. So once you get the item in here, you can see, and you could just go up here and you could just type dual string and it'll show up. But you see what the possible prefixes are, and you see what the suffixes are. But if anybody wants any further deep dive on Craft of Exile, just write it in the comments below. So pretty much that is it. Explore the omens, understand what the orbs do, and craft your heart out, man. Get the best stuff you can. Make sure you get expert stuff, expert or superior expert. Chef's kiss. Make sure you upgrade the quality. Make sure you hit it with Artificer's Orb as much as you can before you corrupt anything. And yeah, so if there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything I missed, anybody that has any secret tips, I won't be offended. Leave comments below. Like I said earlier, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. and hit that dumbass bell icon thingy. I stream Path of Exiles too every day. We're coming up with we got a couple of things in the works. We got a podcast we're working on. So yeah, if you like, follow, and subscribe, you can keep up to date and find out whenever that's going to get launched. And yeah, all right, peace. See you in Path